Yo, YouTube, it's your boy Premier, back today with another banger, and in today's video we will be going over one of the most underrated and slept on builds in NBA 2K20, a scoring machine. But before we get into the build, PremierOG, I already know you're good for it, but if you're new, smash that like button, drop a nice comment below, subscribe if you're new, and while you're at it, turn those post notifications on. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this build. First things first, you're going to need to go ahead and make it a point guard, handed, of course, jersey number, all up to you. Next, for the skill breakdown, you're going to want to go ahead and select the second skill breakdown. It's the skill breakdown with the most finishing and the most shooting. You want to go ahead and select this one because it has the highest ball control, the highest three-pointer, and the highest finishing and driving dunk in particular. It's one of the most overpowered guard builds in the game, one of the best skill breakdowns for a guard, period. So make sure you select the skill breakdown with the most finishing, the most shooting, the green and blue skill breakdown. Next, for the physical profile, there is two different physical profiles I want you to look at and make a personal decision. This is one of the best in the game for any guard just because it has an 88 speed, 86 acceleration, the highest speed and highest acceleration for this build's physical profile. But the other physical profile I would like you to look at is the second one from the bottom, the one with the highest acceleration, the highest speed, and the highest vertical. Whenever you hit 99.9 and you have Gym Rat, that's going to make this build right here with this current physical profile. You're going to end up with a 93 speed, you're going to end up with a 91 acceleration, and a 99 vertical. So if you would like a physical profile like that at 99.9 and when you have Gym Rat, select this current physical profile. But me personally, I want the closest thing possible. I want the 97 speed and I want that 95 acceleration. I'll go ahead and live with the 86 vertical, or 87 vertical, excuse me for my bad math. I personally recommend the top physical profile for this build. Next, for your attributes, I'm going to go ahead and fly through these attributes and be back with the updated attributes on this build. Now, after we finish up with this build, go ahead and get a good look at the badge upgrades. 16 finishing, 21 shooting, 12 playmaking, and 8 defense and rebounding. That is one of the best all-around badge upgrade sets for any guard build. And the way you want to go ahead and get that, and the way you're going to make this build a scoring machine, because if you do not do this perfectly, this build is going to end up as an offensive threat. So what you need to go ahead and do is upgrade the close shot to 90, upgrade all of this, max out all of your finishing, besides your standing dunk, only upgrade that to a 35, and of course you don't want to upgrade that post hook. Next, for the shooting, you want to go ahead and upgrade the mid-range, max out all of your shooting. If you take one off, you are not going to get the maximum 21 shooting badges for this build. Next, for the playmaking on this build, you can only upgrade your pass accuracy to a 79. And then of course you want to go ahead and upgrade and max out your ball handling. That way you have the highest ball control and you can speed boost. But if you upgrade your pass accuracy any higher than a 79, it's going to end up as an offensive threat and it will not say a scoring machine. But after that, let's go ahead and move on to the defense. You want to go ahead and max out all of your defense, all of your perimeter defense, lateral quickness, and steal. Then you want to go ahead and upgrade all of your defensive rebounding. That way you get the most defense and rebounding badge upgrades you can. Then from there, you only have like 2 remaining points if I'm not mistaken. I went ahead and put it in my block. You cannot upgrade your playmaking any higher, and if you upgrade your finishing any higher, you do not get a badge upgrade. But after that, let's go ahead and move on to the body shape for this build. And the body shape that I recommend, hands down, is Defined. Defined has the closest shoulders and the longest arms, and when you're playing the guard position, you want to avoid the most amount of body contact as possible. So for the body shape, I definitely recommend Defined. Next, for the height, there is a huge debate going on right now in this game between the heights for like a BP build, and the heights they are debating between a 6'1", 6'2", and then 6'3". Honestly, I recommend 6'3". That way you can be the tallest, and that way you can get the best defense on this build. But if you're an offensive oriented point guard and you're going to be playing a lot of stage, you definitely want the highest ball control, and I would recommend 6'2" at that point. But if you're any type of twos player, if you're going to be playing any type of defense on this build, I definitely recommend 6'3". The only way I'd recommend doing 6'2" or 6'1" on this build is if you're going to be playing with some type of lockdown build. So for the height, I recommend 6'3". Next, for the weight, definitely want to go ahead and minimize this weight. That way you get the highest acceleration, that way you get the highest vertical on this build, and you get the highest lateral quickness. Strength for the guard position really doesn't do much. The only time you're really going to need strength is if you're getting back down or something along those lines, a blow by, something like that. For the guard position, you want to be the fastest player on the court. You do not want to have that center or the lockdown being able to keep up with you. So for the weight, I recommend 170 pounds for this build. Next, for the wingspan, really no debate here. You want to go ahead and minimize the arms. That way you get the highest ball control, the highest three-pointer, and the highest mid-range. Now, for the takeovers, here you have a few options. Slasher takeover is hands down one of the best takeovers in the game. Shot creator as well is very overpowered if you're running Hall of Fame ankle breaker, Hall of Fame space creator. And then of course you can never forget about spot up shooter. The sharp takeover here is one of the best takeovers in the game, especially if you're running Hall of Fame steady shooter and Hall of Fame deadeye. Once you get sharp takeover, they can 100% contest you and you can green it in their mouth. So I definitely think you got to keep all these different takeovers. And then of course playmaker takeover will help make up for the fact you only get gold playmaking badges. Once you get playmaker takeover, you can put people on the floor with this build. But honestly, I recommend slasher takeover for this build because you're going to have the Hall of Fame finishing badges. I definitely think once you get takeover on this build, you can dunk on almost anyone, and it's one of the best takeovers in the game. And as you can see, you have built a scoring machine similar to Trae Young, similar to Jamal Murray. This is one of the best guard builds. It's one of the most underrated guard builds in NBA 2K20. But that's all for today's build video. Let me know what you think of this build video down below. Let me know what you think of it, if it's a dub, if it's an L, and what build video or video in particular you would like to see next. Because honestly, I'm thinking about doing a lot more build videos. I'm definitely looking at some of these rare builds in the game, thinking about doing a lot more build videos on them. Let me know what you think of that idea if you're a part of Premier Worldwide. But yeah, that's all for today's video. Let me know what you think of it. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Make sure to turn those post notifications on. It's your boy Premier, and I'm out. Peace!